Nigeria. Is that what we're looking for? Or we're looking for, original precedents, one that would serve the interest of the North, South, East, West, as it is, because it seems like that's what it is. We're looking for, almost every geopolitical zone is asking for their own precedents or for the next precedents to come from their zone. Are we actually looking for someone that would better the lot of Nigerians, or we're looking for someone who would be from our ethnic stock? We'll be talking this morning with Dr. Sam Amadi, as a former chairman of the NERC. He's also a lawyer, lecturer, and public intellectual. He's going to be sharing thoughts with us this morning. Stay with us. Before we get to the big talk segment, as usual, topical stories. My name is Ihe Nacho Prince. Welcome to Eagles Outlook. And in topical stories this morning, according to a statement issued by the presidential spokesman Malam Garba Shehu Buhari, who is on the President Muhammadu Buhari, was jetting out of the country to be a part of the UN summit in the company of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, Minister of Environment, Mohammed H. Abdullahi, his agriculture counterpart, Dr. Mahmoud Mohammed, and Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman H. Adamu. Also on the President's delegation are the National Security Advisor, Major General Mohammed Babagana Mongonu. Mohammed Mongonu, retired Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, and Chairman CEO of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa. Buhari would participate in the summit ahead of head of state and government from May 9th to 10th, 2022. He joins world leaders at Sofitel Hotel, Abidjan, for the 15th session of the Conference of Parties, COP15 of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD, with the theme Land, Life, Legacy, from Scarcity to Prosperity. Also, after weeks of respite following more than 3 months of punishing petrol scarcity nationwide, long queues have appeared in Abuja and adjoining states. The long vehicle lines began to build up on Saturday, and as of Sunday, it was observed that the problem had worsened as almost all private filling stations had no product. It was further discovered that while the NNPC mega stations were open for business, although the long queues stretching over a kilometer in many places, the outskirts of Abuja were hardest hit. Similarly, the Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, has suspended its planned strike action over the rising cost of aviation fuel. President of the AON, Alhaji Abdul Munaf Yunusa Sarina, who announced this on Sunday, said the decision was taken after deliberations with the federal government. In a statement, Sarina said the AON acceded to the calls from the highest echelons of government to halt there. Also, 10 persons having reported dead in an explosion which occurred at an illegal refinery in Uzuaku community in Uka West local government area of Abia State. 3 of the victims were said to have died at the scene of the blast, which occurred last Friday evening, while the other 7 persons passed on in the hospital where they were rushed to for treatment. And that's it on Trending Stories this morning. We'll be talking more in a minute. Stay with us. The conversation continues here.
2.3 Abuja.
Sequel to the declaration of states of emergency on water, sanitation and hygiene by the FCT administration in November 2020, with the view to end open defecation in the territory by 2025. The FCT Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu, will be hosting the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of public toilets in the entire FCT. The FCT Minister, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Development Partners, CSOs, and the organized private sector in water, sanitation, and hygiene, OPSWASH members, and other dignitaries will be attending this historic event on May 10. This message is sponsored by Holborn Nigeria Limited in collaboration with FCT Rwasa. Stop open defecation in the FCT.
Let's spice up your day. Tune in to a breath of fresh air. It's all fun and games until it gets extra and better. 102.3 Extra, weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Oli J. Cheers to something new.
Life is a game, right? Sorry, it's not that serious. Create a word from another word using the last alphabet of the same word. That's how the game goes. You will get buzzed out if you pause, repeat, or say the same word again and again. Buzz out. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on 102.3 Extra on Eagles FM.
Eagles Morning Rise. Eagles Morning Rise with
Hannah Prince.
And thank you so much for leaving your dials locked on your radio experience. You can count on it's 11 minutes gliding down 9 o'clock this morning. We're talking about, and we're asking the question, is the clamor now for, a president, original president, or we're looking for a president who would have the interest of Nigerians at heart? That's the question we're asking this morning, because as it is, it seems like every geopolitical zone of the country is seeking to have the president, and it feels like it's no longer about Nigerians. Now it's about regionalism or ethnicity, because almost every ethnic stock or region or zone in the country now wants the president to come from there. We're saying the clamor started with the Southeast, where they're saying, well, in the interest of equity and fairness, the presidency should come, or the next president should come from the Southeast. The Southwest is also saying, well, they need, if it's going to be zoned to the South, or if the next president has to come from anywhere, it has to come from the South. The Northern region saying, well, they would not be cowed into, ceding or giving up the presidential role or ticket, or as it is. For them, the president can also come from the North. And they say no one can intimidate them. Apparently, at this point, it is no longer about the generality of Nigeria, but about, individual or different ethnic stocks. We're joined this morning. My guest today is a former chairman of the Nigeria Electricity National Electricity Regulatory Commission, and he is the former director. He's also executive director of the Center for Public Policy Research. He's a lecturer, lawyer, and also a public intellectual. Dr. Sam Amadi, thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Sam.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Well, Dr. Amadi, first of all, let me condole with you and the rest of the Southeast on the death of Senator Athan Zeribe. My condolences to you and every other person from the Southeast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so let's get to this conversation. At this point, Nigerians are wondering, lots of Nigerians are concerned when they hear that the next president has to come from this region or this zone and that other geopolitical zone. And, the conversation has just continued. Just over the weekend, the Southwest APC caucus had a meeting where they agreed that, well, they're not going to fight each other, but that the next president should come from that, from the Southwest. Also, the Southeast is warming up and clamoring that the next president should come from there. In all of this, what are your thoughts regarding who should be the next president of Nigeria and what qualities that person should possess?
Well, thank you very much. The person who should be the next president is the person that Nigerians believe has the capacity, the virtues, and the skills to deliver on what Nigerians consider important, critical issues of national development. So that's basic. That irrespective of agitations, elections, presidents emerge through elections. So it will be the person Nigerians vote. They do it in February, I think 26 or whatever, 2023. But again, back to the agitation. So what are the policies they can find? Very easy to say that, well, we expect that the next president to be somebody who understands the problem. Oftentimes people talk about who can do this. If you don't do anything without a proper understanding of the problem. And so I've been doing some diagnosis, analysis of this potential aspirants. And I've argued that so far, the days I've done, P2B, in my view, comes closest to understanding one important critical aspect of the Nigerian crisis, which is the overbearing renter economy. The Nigerian state as a criminal state, if you like, a state of exploitation, predation, just collect for the state. So everything about Nigeria, the Nigerian political business class, have one thing in common. They understand politics as the art of extracting from the state, not of expanding production or service. So that's a good diagnosis. So whoever is going to be, who should be, not who will be, because elections are not often rational. Those who do democratic theory can argue that democracy, what you call rationality test, oftentimes it doesn't produce rational outcomes, because human beings oftentimes make decisions based on a lot of things, whether it's advanced or traditional democracy. So I'm not going to say the man who will be, but who ought to be should be the person, male or female, who understands the Nigerian predicament. Understands not this woolly and superficial talk about private sector, great economy, mobilize leadership, transformation. No. What in strategy? What it is first understand the challenges and the opportunities. What's the problem with Nigeria? So the second thing that you need a leader, of course, in my view, who has a temperament to bring people together, to communicate across divides, to present views and ideas to every person, different groups, in a manner that they can even give a hearing, not a bellicose, arrogant, quarrelsome, truculent, deranged person who will be shouting and abusing and knocking down things. After Buhari's tragic governance, we need a reset and a leader who understands the power of communication, a leader who is liberal, truly liberal in his mind, who is open, tolerant, and who can effectively couple a coalition. A leader who has the firmness to execute well thought out solutions. That's what we need right now. Now, back to the education. I think the play by Southwest leaders is stupid, I'm sorry to say. How can a leader that produced the president in the last 15 years, 8 years of Buhari, 8 years now of Oshibanjo, talk about most confidence? There's nothing wrong about Southwesterners campaigning and win the presidency, which is the way politics goes. Politics does not respond to perfect justice. So even though Southeast, not Central, not East, are the three zones that have not produced since 1999, nothing guarantees that the president of Nigeria joint will come from those zones. So that's normal. So Tinubu, Koyemi, Shibanjo, Amosu, anyone from Southwest can run for president, but it beggars belief or understanding for his own with so many brilliant, exceptionally gifted people to come and say must. So what injustice has Southwest suffered? Actually, Southwest should actually be the zone that should be excluded. If anybody ought to be excluded, it's actually Southwest, because they have done more than every other person. In fact, since 1999, done more than Northwest that have produced maybe most of our presidents, from Shagari and so on, or not even as the Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and so on and so forth. So the only zone that really has the best claim, in my view, is South East, because you can talk about the Buhari, the Babangidas, and the what they call the Abubakar, who were military tutors since Aguilar was head of state, Zico was ceremonial head of state. The South has not got anything like that. So they have a better claim. And if they say should come to South, then it's understandable with the logic of fairness and justice. So really the question is, what is the argument for a Yoruba president or South president that must? So I think it's just an error, total error, and very annoying and insulting. But let's look at that. So the question is, do you really need all this regional? I don't think it's incompatible to talk about regional presidency and efficient, intelligent, and capable presidents. They are not mutually, exclusive or contradictory. All over the world, politics is the art of the possible. You use politics to respond to the context we're in. There's nothing wrong about rotational presidency. Abacha was right when he prescribed a 20-year period in which all the zones will have presidents. So if you want to call the theory of constitutionalism, which is basically to say democracy should be, in a plural society, should respond to the bargain, a good bargain and good compromise that is necessary to stabilize that politics. So it's right. In many democracies, Belgium, Finland, in those days, and so on and so forth, where you have this arrangement where people take turns and where groups bargain and create democracy that respond to their diversity. So nothing wrong in saying, look, we're going to have to rotate presidency, as long as we know that we're focusing on a capable candidate and a process that's democratic. And the rest of the country will vote in that person and say, look, this time it goes to the Northwest, and therefore we'll be scanning for the best guy in the Northwest. You see, governance is not just stardom. It's not one man, squad which comes up. We need a coalition. It's a elite game. Also, we need an environment that is conducive for productive leadership. So it's not a case of saying, oh, there's one P2B in Southeast, and therefore, if in 2023, Southeast has had 100 presidents in Nigeria, and the group is clamoring, and the safety and the stability of the country depends on the response to that group. Is oh, P2B is a famous economist, P2B is a great guy, and therefore we must have P2B. That's how nations are built. They're built on compromises, they're built on give and take. And when we talk about, value pluralism, there are many things you have to harmonize. So we want excellent guys, at the same time we still want to have a sense of justice. So we have to balance. We have to look for that person who comes from that zone. But that depends on two things. If there's a great commitment among the political elite to respond to a sense of, injustice that is very glaring. And so that's why I argue that it's nothing like zoning to South and North. The South has done as much as the North, or even more so in presidential politics. The Obasanjo was for the South, the other was for the South. So together they put in about 10 years or 12 years. And there was good Buhari's 8 years max and 2 years or so of Yar'Adua. The North still have some deficits. So the North-South divide doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is affirmative action. So you can say Southeast. You've not had this presidency. There's so much at the zone. We, the Nigerian people, respond by saying we zoned it to South. So I've said before that the only zone that makes sense is zoning as affirmative action. It's not zoning to North and South. There's no crisis between North and South. There's no injustice that the South have suffered even to the North. So I don't care a Northern being president of Nigeria because the South has also have, but I care more about micro zones to areas, whether it's like Northeast or areas like Southeast or either like North Central or either like Northwest or Southwest, where you perceive that there is a real crisis of confidence. There's a real sense of injustice that needs to be addressed via affirmative action. That's my view about this conflict.
Well, you just mentioned, you made a case for, microzoning, like you put it. But then people would say... Yes, I've heard people say power, and you also talked about, in the interest of, justice, like many people have argued. Now, but all the people are saying, well, zoning is not constitutional, one. Two, they also say that power isn't giving, power is taking. So when they make such arguments, how does that sit with you?
I don't think power is taking. Power is given by the people. That's what the book is saying about. But look, what I'm trying to say is that, look, guys, go and fight for power. And that's wrong. If you keep fighting for power in the community, society, you destroy the society. It's not a fight. They are bringing us back to the state of nature, where we have to, the war of all against all. That's how democracy was constructed. If you look at the social contract theory, to take us away from the realm of violence. Now, I use the word consensus. You see, the idea of politics is the art of the possible. That means it can be done anyhow. Nothing stops the people say, look, we all belong to association. If the association, let's say, look at this zoning thing. It's also in the states. States are zoning their positions to reflect a balance. You hear about Enugu, they say it's the turn of X in Enugu. Why is it so? Because this zone, the people in the state recognize the value of stability. that dominance is not guaranteed progress. What guarantees progress is shared power, win, not win, lose. So there's no force. Nobody forces. Zoning is not constitutional and it's not unconstitutional. The Constitution did not say you can't zone power. The Constitution says to be the president of Nigeria, you must have you must be sponsored by a political party, and you do an election, and you have the largest vote of Nigerians, and you win in 25% of 2/3 states in Nigeria. You're president. So how about if Nigerian political leaders stay, like we did in 1999, and say, we want a Southwest, a Yoruba person because of June 12, and all of them, a party like AD stopped somebody like Wood, somebody like Okwadike, Dr. The former governor of Anambra State, Ezife, from Lord. A party like APP stopped somebody like Ubunayanu and gave his Yoruba ticket, Southwest have ticket. How about that? That was politics as well. Because they recognized the crisis of June 12 and the whole tragedy in the Southwest. And they said, look, Nigeria is at the precipice of collapse. The best we can do for ourselves is to bring ourselves together and to let the Yoruba didn't. By the way, Obasanjo lost the Southwest. So the case of power is not given, you can't take it. Those are dissimulative arguments. People want to deceive Nigeria. They come and talk to us and say, with the Southwest voting Yoruba, they didn't vote in Obasanjo. He lost there. But he became Nigerian president because there was a national consensus.
But in 1998, when the primaries were held, the likes of Alex Okweme contested or aspired for the position of the president. He wasn't seated. He wasn't seated to the Southwest. There was a primary that Obasanjo won.
No, this is the argument. Nobody is excluded. I started by saying that everyone has the right to veer. It's any consensus. Okweme was the founder of the party. Obasanjo was from prison, ex-prisoner, if you like, sitting in his house in Nigeria, which is Babariga and eating Podria. And the northern elder met and said, look, we want you to come out. And defeated the Kwame. Why did they defeat the Kwame? The party missionary turned, recognizing the need for a Southwest presidency. That's why he defeated the Kwame. Including all of them says, let's go south. And I give an example. I say ANPP putting Udomayono as a candidate. It's not like he won at the margin. They said no, let's give to Southwest. And they asked former Senator go to come and be the candidate. The point I'm making is that there's no rule. Nobody can exclude anybody. Today, forms have been, don't you see some people picking form? Even some women, even some youth, some people who have no chance of winning one delegate are picking form to run for presidency. Because of them. When Obasanjo was returned, the North also competed. When Buhari, the ANPP was clear that going to go to the North, Roch has competed. So don't use the fact that people compete. The question is, there is a consensus we will lead to zone. See, I'm not a zoning user. I'm just saying that if you want to zone, it's only for affirmative. What's affirmative action? Affirmative action is a recognition that something that is not good want to respond to. For example, Biden looked at the Supreme Court. I didn't see a black woman. There's a black man that says, we must give this to a black woman. They didn't compete. It's not like the woman defeated all the men. There are white men, there are white women, there are Spanish men, Spanish women, there are black men and black women. So he says affirmative action. I want to redress a century-old error, which is that there's no black woman on this court. And that was what happened. So I'm saying that zoning doesn't make sense to me. First, there's no South and North zoning. That is fraud. The North and South are not geopolitical in the Constitution, nothing like that. And the 6 zones that Equipment and others got together were not South and North. They were Southwest, Northeast, Northwest, South-South, Southeast, and so on. And there's no difference between North Central, the person in Kogi and the person in Mugu. So when you say, oh, can't you go to the South so that you go to the South, South, or Southwest, that's fraud. So for me, my preference is let Nigerians decide who they want to in a complete open election.
All right, Dr. Madi, please hold that thought. We have a caller. Let's bring him in. Hello, good morning.
Hello, yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Take him be.
Yes, I was on weekend, sir. That's your guest, sir. Yes, my name is taking the yes from the I'm calling all the way from National Nigeria. Yes, Oga Prince, you see, we have all maintained that there is no part of this country that you won't find a capable hand to rule this country. We can even begin to call names. And you see, some people are playing games, you know. Let me tell you, that, please, provided the current president is from the East, I tell you the truth, nobody will say what they are saying today. They will want you to come to that place. They won't say, let us, put it, openly. And because the president comes from a place where many people don't want power to live. And you see, I will tell you for free, if a political party like APC will not turn to the southeast, I will not blame them. But for a political party like PDP, they have enjoyed so much support from the people of the southeast, come rain, come sunshine, that they have qualified people. And one of them is Peter Obi. They are well qualified. They can do better. But you see, I'm surprised that PDP is struggling because there are some forces from the north that feel that yes, their pocket is deep, that they wouldn't want power to go somewhere else. This is unfair now. They have been in power for so long. Since 1960 till date, they have been in power. So if we talk about insecurity, all the Jewish positions, all the Jewish ministry, it is them. This is unfair. Power must shift away from the north. Let PDP do the right thing. They are going to tomorrow. Let them decide. Let power be shifted and directly go to the southeast. They have been solidly behind them for years. It is time to let power to go there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Taking Bay, for your thoughts. Now, Dr. Amadi, before you respond, you're going to respond to Taking Bay's thoughts. But before that, we'll take a quick pause. Stay with us. The conversation continues.
Abuja. I can tell he's been lying and pretending that he's faithful and he loves you.
Hanging out with friends is such a hobby, but chilling with your girlfriends? Such a bolster. We talk about love, family, relationship, the shady, hilarious, fun, juicy, messy gossip in town. And the gentlemen aren't off the table. Girlfriends with Oli J, Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Exclusive to Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja.
We all need that friend who is our unpaid therapist that we yearn to talk to every day. Look no further.
Call me up, talk to me about your day. I'm right here and I am listening to you.
We are going to celebrate our new baby girl. My day was not that very okay because of...
Join Kemi Michael on A Cobble for Your Thoughts every weekday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM.
With Prince.
You're on to Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on 9:37 as the time. My guest this morning, as we discuss the question, are we talking about regional presidency now? I've heard people argue to say, let's go back to the 1963 Constitution. Let's have a regional, where we have regional government and all. Is that what we're deciding on? Because as it is, if every geopolitical zone says we should produce the next president, then apparently when we go to the polls, we're probably going to have, a regional president. My guest this morning is Dr. Sam Amadi. Is that even possible? No, I don't think so. Dr. Sam Amadi is the former chairman of the NERC. He is a lawyer, lecturer, and public intellectual. He's sharing thoughts with us this morning. Be a part of this conversation. You can call us on 090-7353-0044 or 090-9705-4450. I'll take that again. You can send me a message on 090-9705-4450 or call 090-8766-8888. Now, Dr. Amadi, before we took that pause, Taking Big Holding, and he said for him, if a party like the APC isn't agreeing to zone to the southeast, he doesn't have a problem. But if a party like the PDP that has enjoyed support from the southeast for over since the return to democracy, then he would have a problem. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you can look at the logic. It's right in a way. You look at the logic and say, the Southeast has been voting mostly PDP, therefore PDP should the ticket. That is, if you are seeing the ticket as a what work. If I see, like I'm making the point, I think it's zone, there's no logic of it. It's an affirmative, which means if you see it as one, two as entitlement, then it doesn't matter whether PDP or APC. When I look at it objectively, Southeast has two APC governors. Imo is virtually PDP, two senators, one PDP, two senators, one PDP. Ebon, APC governor. Anambra, Abga, that caucuses is APC, rather PDP. Abga is security, the governor is up to now a member of the president's economic management team. That's it. So, we APC is actually Southeast is as equally PDP as the APC. This logic of isolating and making is wrong. So I would argue that if APC is in power, has more structure than PDP, has more governors in the north of PDP, where much of the vote is coming from Clamor and Lagos, so they are in a better position to go to the Southeast actually, because they will suffer no political repercussion. If APC is on to Southeast, if they're going south, they lose nothing. Southwest has to vote to Southeast, but Southwest has no sense of representation. I mean, why would Southwest not vote for Southeast? They in power. So what have they lost? If I look at the people who are arguing for Southeast, they are Southwesterners. They're listening professors are saying go Southeast. So APC actually has a better position to go to Southeast. Because one, they are in power. The North is the immediate in APC. The North has governed for all the areas are in power. So there's no sense of loss for the North. In PDP, not one can argue people that in PDP, out of PDP 16 years people talk about, the South has taken 12 or rather 14. I think the North has got only 2. So the North has still a sense of entitlement in PDP that we've been faithful of that 8 years, the other 4 plus 2 or plus 1, whatever, we've been faithfully with you guys. So it's our turn. So in a sense, in a logical sense, PDP is the one who ought to zone to the North, actually. Even as Buhari, being president makes it more desirable for a Southerner to succeed. So I will shoot the logic. As the APC is safe, has no consequence if it goes Southeast. It's a power party in power in federal. It's a party that has more governors in the Southwest, South, the North. So a Southeast candidate will not be a problem. PDP is a party in a position that wants to get back to power. So the argument I say is that if they zone to Southeast, where then they are weaker in the North, so they can't think there's another vote. So that's a fair argument, even though it's not an argument to unite PDP, Southeast the vote. So the point I'm making is on both sides, there are logic that supports and logic that detracts from it. So that's why I keep using the word affirmative action. Affirmative action means you recognize that something is wrong and you are doing it to affirm. It's not a reward. You don't say, give us your vote number. It's just based on merit. If it's based on merit, let the stronger guy win it, wherever it comes from. That's competitive politics. Merit. Whether it's not I do not claim that they have the number. So it's not going to continue to win. But if it is on justice, on equity, then it's not about number. It's not about saying, Southeast gave us this vote. And by the way, if you compare 315 and 2019, APC made a net gain in Southeast and a net loss in Southwest. APC did well, relatively better in Southeast in 2019 and lost relatively in Southwest in 2015. So if you like to say, it looks like there's a dynamic for growth in APC in Southeast than in Southwest.
Dr. Amadi, let's talk about the some of the legal problem issues coming up from the Electoral Act and the 2023 elections. Those who are still, appointees of government who are running for, one elective office or the other. Ministers in the President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet who are running for several offices, even with the Electoral Act that was signed saying that they would have to resign their position before they can actually contest for these positions. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think could be the implications going forward?
I think that they should have resigned. I blame Buhari, and I think Buhari is probably the weakest president in Nigerian history. I mean, under Jonathan 2015, all ministers resigned. Were asked this one to contest. Otom, Magu, they all were asked to go on an election. Weakest himself. It's clear that staying in government and run election detracts from the focus we need. The worst is for the governor of central bank. Central banks in the world are built around professionalism, political neutrality. They're not even partisanship, neutrality. And for the governor of the central bank to put together a group, call it whatever, to get formulation form and create a echo chamber that's asking to come around and have one or two papers revised over to the writing master to the height of how Buhari has totally damaged the credibility in the Nigerian institution. So the electoral act is very clear. Those guys have to resign. And the government that Umar gave was totally, I was surprised.
Exactly, I was going to go there because there's a judgment from the Umar court, so we can't say it's the precedent at this point. Can we blame the precedent?
No, the government says remove the act. I'm saying without the act, the constitution and the parts of government and people resign. Jonathan didn't need a 2022 electoral act to ask everyone to resign. It makes sense. So, with the point that I've given you precedent, so I'm not saying the president has to wait for when the Attorney General goes and contracts the judgment from the court. You don't have to wait for that. It's those sense of lack of effectiveness and failure to respect the institution of governance. But how does it sound to you that the central bank governor, central bank that has no partnership, zero partnership all over the world?
Well, but the central bank governor said he's not the one running. He's not running. He has not made that decision yet.
Listen, now, if government institutions should help us, they're being critical. I'm not running, but I'm praying for God. That's stupidity.
All right, Dr. Amadi, please hold that thought. Let's bring in this caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, yes, Oga Prince, this is taking the calling back. Oga Prince, you see, I want to say that the CBN governor has no case, has no issue at all, because he has not come out to declare any intention. He has not come out to say that he wants to run. And meanwhile, people have bought phone for him. It is not a crime that people will buy something for you. It's left for him to say, yes, I accept or I don't accept. But so long as he did not accept that, yes, he bought phone for me, I've accepted. As long as he has not come out to declare any intention, I don't think anybody should have anything against him. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Tekeme also does not think that anyone should hold it against the central bank governor since he hasn't come out.
Let me answer quickly on that point.
Yes.
Destroy the institutions by being certification. First and foremost, we are in Nigeria. How can people come and this rumor about the governor one has been on for how many 3 months? Is that not correct? We saw Emefiele cars, Emefiele for governor. I've gone for governorship in my state primary. If you're not interested, nobody will organize for you. You tell them no. Look at the different issue by INEC. INEC chairman has not been anywhere. But because somebody says, oh, maybe someday INEC chairman says, I'm not running. Now, Emefiele tells you, I'm praying for God. Nigerians are so docile. That's why people are talking about democracy. I say that central bank is different from every other institution. A central bank is a quasi-legislative agency. A central bank is a quasi-judicial agency. A central bank gives license. A central bank can make you poor today. A central bank can cause your station to be off air. A central bank can execute judgment against you, issue another like a court. We were here when a central bank governor removed almost 5-6 CEOs. The 3 lessons from them. It's an institution that the owner, the head of that institution, never gets involved in politics or partisanship.
All right, Dr. Amadi, let's bring in this caller too. Hello, good morning.
It's a question that has not said I will not run.
Dr. Amadi, please hold that thought. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my prince.
Ayomide, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. How was your night? How was your weekend?
Very well. Make it quick, please.
Yeah, firstly, I'll first of all speak about this issue of fuel. What's happening now? I woke up this morning, I could find myself in a queue, in a long queue for the past, since 7 o'clock, I've not gotten fuel till now. That is that. Then secondly, the issue of zoning in this country, we just have to be careful because I think formally we zone. I think that's what we do it constitutionally, and allow discover that it's unconstitutionally to zone because why that's what the constitution does not say we should zone the presidency of the thing, but we should use our initiative to do it. And so that way it's going to be okay. Everybody's coming out south. The power just need to shift from the north. Right. That is what we are saying now.
Right.
When the power is shifting from the north, then we know what to do next.
Thank you.
Then we know how they are going to run it again.
Thank you so much, Ayomide. We appreciate you calling in. Now, Dr. Amadi, we can't let you go if you don't talk about the energy sector. Just recently, there was a purported increment in electricity tariffs. Help us understand this multi-year tariff order that always comes up, and the review in electricity tariffs.
Well, the tariff order is a methodology that's structured to give guarantees. That means it gives you like a 5 years apart to electric tariff. So what that means therefore is in 5 years time, let us know that this is the cost profile of power in the next 5 years. Like it's subject to changes like inflation, cost of gas, and all that. So when that happens, you see changes in the electricity prices. So the budget is a framework that allows for standardization, certainty, and predictability in the electricity tariff. So, but the critical thing about it is that it brings together all the costs that are proven credible costs that is recoverable from consumers, and then later the discourse will split it among the various consumer groups that will now pay for these bills. It's subject to minor and major reviews. Minor reviews are the reviews that 6 months or 1 year, depending on the framework, the regulator can change those reviews to respond to, for example, now index to inflation. Inflation rate has gone up. The purported change is high. Dollar, maybe the time it was set 2 years ago or thereabout, dollar was trading for maybe $1 for, let's say, 200 or something. Now it's about 500, maybe 600. So that is more than 5%. So it will reflect in the tariff, new tariff. So that's what happens when we talk about final reviews. That means suddenly in 6 months time, you see an increment. That increment is indexed, and when this happens and it's up to 5%, it changes. Now the problem is that these changes don't go together with increase in supply. So customers feel betrayed, exploited, and totally frustrated because they are getting higher bills. But the bills, even though the bills are responding to cost of business, but the service quality is respond to efficiency. So the crisis of this sector is that we have increasing costs that are not commensurate to increasing efficiency. So if your costs are not controlled through more efficient management and, of course, control of macroeconomic fundamentals, sometimes beyond their control, think about the surge in energy costs across the world. So that will have impact on your local economy. So if you don't have mitigating strategies to reduce those impacts, and you're not improving efficiency, you're not improving quantity available, you're not improving supply, then you're getting a double crisis. Cost is going up, and that's what the price is reflect. The price responds to cost profile. The quality responds to efficiency gain. So if you are increasing cost and you're not being efficient, you're not getting the gains of increased cost, then customers will pay more and get less, as it's happening now.
That's quite sad. We also see few queues returning. But I'd love to say thank you so much, Dr. Sam Amadi, former chairman, NERC, lawyer, lecturer, public intellectual. Thank you so much for talking with us this morning. We really appreciate your time. We'll talk about the energy sector maybe some other time when we have the time to talk to you. Thank you so much for being on the program today.
Thank you.
Right, I leave you with Lee Kuan Yew when he talks about electing and choosing leaders. I hope that you understand this.
We need a government which is both bold and prudent. And I am dead serious when I said on the eve of National Day, get our ablest and our best into politics. One key requirement is let's avoid hypocrisy and let's do this thing honestly, approximate the market rate. Try and get the government on the cheap, you end up with a cheap government and you'll be sorry for yourselves. What does the government have to do to keep up the enthusiasm? Because somebody else has started something new and you got to chase him. I think that sums up Singapore's position. That's the art of government. First job of a government is to equalize opportunities, right? Not equalize results. You equalize results, you're done for. You end up with what Deng Xiaoping calls the iron rice bowl. Nobody works, everybody does his minimum, very little rice in the bowl. Those who are faint-hearted, well, that's the exit for you. It will always be
102.3.
Welcome to Eagles 102.3 News Beats.
Here is the business news bit. The Naira slumped further in exchange of the dollar at 595 on Friday at the parallel market. This is as some bureau de change operators said the dollar was bought and sold at 585 and 595 on Friday. On Monday, the Naira was exchanged at 590 Naira to a dollar. At the investor and exporter forex window, the Naira fell by 0.20% to close at 419 Naira after reaching a high of 444 Naira on Thursday.